it's Nyx, and I'm back with the update to a video that had some really good info, but it was, well, quality, honestly. But more importantly, I've learned so much since then and thought it's time for an update to the Sims 4 Studio batch fix video. So we'll be going over the do's and don'ts and basically anything that may make the process a little bit easier overall. So let's get started by downloading the Sims 4 Studio. All right, so you're gonna go ahead and open your browser and type in Sims 4 Studio, hit enter, and just choose this first option, which will send you to the Sims 4 Studio home page. Scroll down to find the open beta version, since the community testing version is currently on vacation due to EA and the Crystal Creation Glitch Fest. So yeah. Anyway, once here, you'll see there is a version for Windows, which is the Star version, and a version for Mac, which is Aurora. Make sure you go ahead and get the correct version for your PC. I have Windows. I'm going to go ahead and download Star. On this page here, it gives updates about changes they've made to Studio, including some personalization options and mostly things CC creators care about. But if you scroll all the way to the red font, it'll give some information on PC requirements. So maybe give a look at that. But we're looking for the download options here. You can choose to have the installer do all the work for you, or you can download the zip, which I prefer to just go ahead and download the zip. So I'm going to click on that, and that takes us to Drive. Click download, and Google will warn us it's a hefty boy and they can't do their thing. You can just go ahead and click download anyway. I already have this, so I won't be re-downloading it. Make sure you save it somewhere you can remember though. So let's head over to where you downloaded it to, and you want to extract it by right-clicking on it and choose extract all. You can have the folder wherever you like. It should not be in the mods folder though. Once you have extracted it, go to the folder and find the Sims 4 Studio.exe file. You can right-click on it and set up a shortcut if you like. Again, if you chose the installer option, it probably did a lot of these steps for you. Anyway, let's go ahead and double-click on Sims 4 Studio to open it. Great, we have S4S up and running. So the very first thing we want to do is make sure our settings are correct. So click settings up here, and the crucial things you need to make sure are correct are your file paths. So the Sims 4 path should lead to where the Sims 4.exe is, and that's usually program files 86, EA Games, The Sims 4. If it's not correct, simply just click on these three dots to adjust it. Next, set the documents path to Documents, Electronic Arts, The Sims. This should be the folder right before your mods folder. You can also change the language if needed, and you may have to set a creator name, but you shouldn't have to download Blender unless you plan to create or edit CC. All right, now that everything's set up, let's talk about what you need to do before even trying to batch fix. Oh, you thought you could just get right into it? No. If you've been mining for any length of time, you know that it is never that simple, unfortunately. But before we can even attempt to batch fix, there are a few prerequisites. First, let's head over to our Sims 4 mods folder. Here you need to create a new folder because this is where we'll be putting all our default CC items. So any default skin, teeth, feet, etc., whatever you have that is a replacement or override item, I'm going to go ahead and just put it here. Make sure to name it something like defaults, overrides, etc. I have mine in this overrides folder, and as you can see, I have a default skin by Grim Cookies. After you've gone ahead and placed all your default items here, make sure to move it outside of your mods folder to somewhere you can find it and put it back in later after the batch fix is complete. Now, why do you have to go through all this? Well, because batch fixes can break default replacement CC, and you'll be sad when your stuff isn't working or your Sims are looking broke down. Oh my God. Well, because of one piece of CC that you put through a batch fix, and you shouldn't have. So let's make sure we don't have these issues. All right, so there's one more important step that we need to take before batch fixing. It's simple. We just need to make sure our game is closed. The batch fixing process works by replacing the files in your mods folder with the updated or repaired one. We'll go ahead and discuss this more later, but like most other things, your game has to be closed in order for it to work. Now that we've covered the essentials, let's finally get into how you can actually batch fix your CC. In S4S, navigate to Content Management, then select Batch Fixes. Here you'll find various options. categorized under cast, objects, and miscellaneous. It would be unlikely that you'd ever use the miscellaneous option unless you need to delete thumbnails for some space. For now, we'll be going over some of the options under cast you should be sure you want to use before running. So first we have disallow CC for random. It prevents any random townies from wearing CC. So that means that just only the sims that you edit will be allowed to wear CC. But maybe you're fine with human sims having random CC, but you just don't want any occults to have randomly generated CC, or maybe just specific occults. So this just prevents CC from being generated on sims you don't create or edit yourself. It can come in handy if you're tired of looking at the wild CC outfits generated for sims. It won't prevent the wild game generations though, so just be aware of that. The other two, disallow CC for shoes for barefoot. Ensure sims won't have any shoes on when they're supposed to be barefoot. I'm sure you've run across some sims that were too embarrassed to actually take off their shoes. And disallow CC for shower prevents sims from wearing clothes in the shower. Cool. So allow CC has all the same options except the last two and does the exact opposite. Disallow CC for default garments is the same as the shower one, except it applies to any situation where the sim is supposed to be nude. The final big one you should watch out for is update cast CC for all genders. It makes it so CC can be worn on both masculine and feminine frame sims. Now, as you're aware, there aren't many clothes that fit appropriately on both masculine and feminine frames in the game. While I think CC does a bit of a better job, you still get a lot of clipping. So I don't recommend this. All the previously mentioned options affects all the CC in the folder that you run the batch fix on. I know I have a lot of CC I don't want available to all sims. You probably do too. So make sure you want these changes before performing any of the fixes previously mentioned. The rest of the options are generally safe to run, and you can read a little more about them in the link I've left below. Now, let's quickly check out object batch fixes for build by items. If you're like me and tend to download way too much CC, then you likely have downloaded some older, super cute CC that unfortunately didn't work in your game. Well, these options allow you to run fixes on that CC that likely broke after certain patches and packs. It also comes in handy if you tend to download CC builds and find that most of the items don't work. Make sure to look over the options and see what fixes may be appropriate for the CC you have. Unfortunately, some things may not be able to be repaired with a batch fix, but you can always check to see if the creator updated an item though. All right, so I want to actually show you all what happens during a batch fix and kind of how to read some of the results that may occur. So we're going to go to content management and we're going to go to batch fixes. We're going to go to cast and we're going to hit add hair growth tags to CC facial hair. When you are running a batch fix, it will automatically choose your mods folder, but you can tell exactly which folder you want it to run a batch fix on. You just have to click browse. So that means you don't necessarily have to run it on your entire mods folder or remove your overrides folder if you choose a specific folder to run it on. In this case, I'm going to go actually to my backup folder because I've already cleaned up all my other stuff. And we're going to just click on that one and run the batch fix on that. It will take a long time because there's a lot of stuff in that folder. And then it tells you actually what you want your backup folder to be. This is kind of automatically created when you run a batch fix or when you install Sims 4 Studio. So I'll go ahead and run it. I'm going to come back and tell you what it's looking like after results have finally shown up. All right, so the batch fix for facial hair growth is not complete. So let's review the results. As you can see, it first tells you what it fixed, which in this case is beards, as it should be. There's a merge package here full of Praline Sims stuff, and they do create beards, so it will fix items even if they are merged. However, you should still check your items in game to ensure that everything is working correctly. We'll scroll past the second result type for a second and go down here to the third, which is no fix needed. This is great. This means that the CC should be working as intended and nothing needed to be fixed. So going back up, we have unable to fix. So this one is usually bad. If you're getting this one, this most likely means that the CC is irreparably broken and you will either have to just delete it or you can delete it and re-download it from the creator. Before you freak out though, this isn't always the case. So in order for you to check it, what you could do is just go ahead and you can copy the CC's names from the results and then paste it into the search of the folder you ran the batch fix on. I can just double click it, but you'll probably have to right click the item, go to open with, and then choose another app. And you have to choose which app is your Sims 4 Studio, or go all the way down here and click look for another app and go to whichever folder houses your Sims 4 Studio app. All right, now it's opened up in S4S and it's telling me that there's an error and it's some type of resource corruption. Unfortunately, that means I should delete this file and re-download it and then check it in S4S and in game to make sure it works. You can hit X, you can look at the information. You can't like fix anything on it because it is not pulling up in Sims 4 Studio and it probably will not show up in your game. So just be aware of that. So if you get these unable to fix options, more than likely you will have to delete that item. So make sure you kind of go through all these unable to fixes items and just check them out. I personally like to think of this as another way of finding bad CC. All the fix options are generally safe to run, except the ones I specifically talked about in the beginning. You can run them all every few months or so if there are game updates or you download more CC. Make sure to keep Sims 4 Studio up to date as well. So there's one more thing that happens when you run a batch fix. It will open a window to the backup folder when the batch fix is done. The backup folder contains the original CC file with the name of the folder you ran the fix on. If there are ever any issues with the CC after running a batch fix, then you can just go here and put the original file back, provided the original CC didn't cause any issues either. You'll also see the results listed here as well. Honestly, I forgot about this. You can just use this to take your time to check any CC under and unable to fix result. Now, you can see I have a lot of backup folders from batch fixes. The amount of memory this takes will continue to grow if you don't delete these files from time to time, but make sure the items work before you delete them. And that's pretty much it for batch fixing. Hooray! Don't forget that I did leave a link in the description that gives you more information about what the different types of batch fixing options are. And please go ahead and subscribe and like the video if you found this helpful so it can reach more people. Also, let me know if you want a video on how to change tags individually for CC items in your game. Adjusting tags is very important because it will completely change the way your Sims dress in game, especially if you use things like MC Dresser or any other mods that generate outfits for Sims. So just let me know if you would like a video for that. Go ahead and comment that below. Anyway, thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. Please take care of yourselves until next time. Bye.